Hey, everybody, and welcome to episode something of Highwind Herald. I don't know how I'm going to number this because of last week's episode. But anyway, I'm Wolfkins, and I got Solos here with me. How you doing, man?
Hello. Good. How are you doing?
Doing good. Yeah, so I don't know when this one goes up on the podcast feed if it's going to be 58, 59. I don't know. So I'll figure that out later.
It'll be a number. We're up
One
there.
thing I need to figure out now, though, is the answer to your trivia question. Let's do it.
Okie dokie. Where is the earliest place in Final Fantasy VII that you can see Cait Sith?
The gold saucer?
No.
Okay, hold up. Do you see him in the Shinra
Because when
Tower?
I was doing this quiz, I also guessed Gold Saucer and got it wrong.
Do you see him in the Shinra Tower?
It's not the answer. I don't know if you do
That's
or not.
not the answer either?
Nope. Where's the first possible place you can see Cait Sith? The correct answer was...
Wall Market.
Can you be a little more specific?
It is in Wall Market, though, right?
What's the place called?
The Honeybee Inn.
Yeah, there you go. Got it. The Honeybee Inn.
I was like, I
don't remember seeing him there. It must be an Easter egg.
I think you could. No, I do remember. It's so if you go in the Honeybee Inn and you can look through like the peepholes, I think you know how you look in, you can see like the weird one with the president. I think he's in there.
The heck's going on in there?
It's a lot of weird stuff.
Yeah, seems like it.
Lots of weird stuff. The Honeybee Inn is a weird place. It's the best place in that game. I also really like the Honeybee Inn in the remake too.
It's a lot more of an experience in the remake than it is in...
Oh yeah, the dance scene is pretty fun.
Yeah, it's hard. I got a perfect score on it.
It's hard. I got perfect.
It was very stressful though. I was also on stream, so I had that level of encouragement going.
Good. I don't remember what I got, but anyway, man, how have you been? What's up? How you been doing? How's Final February going?
Final February had a change of plans today.
I saw you had some news.
Yeah, I wanted to run it by you. I've already made the decision and announced it and everything. Let me get a drink of G Fuel real quick.
And what are you running by me?
Just what I'm doing. So, I mentioned it a little bit on I'm not gonna go into detail, but I'm in a weird headspace this February. This year, seasonal stuff is hitting weirdly, and I streamed 8 once, and the goal of 8 is to play a game I don't like and learn to love it.
It's so good.
And
that would be the cure for my depression.
I had an awful time in that stream. And
man,
I decided, I was like, it's not really 8, I don't think. Because I have nothing, I obviously don't think well of it, and the point is for me to like it. I was
gonna say, what happened in the first stream that you weren't? I mean,
I just wasn't having.
The game's not that bad.
I just wasn't having fun because I did some draw grinding, and I was like, I gotta do this off stream, and I just kept thinking negatively, and I thought this is a me thing. I'm going. I'm just kind of not doing well right now, so I thought, the point of it is to learn to love the game, and I'm not gonna be able to do that right now, and it's making me not want to.
13 instead.
Yeah, it's making me not want to stream. So 8 is still happening. I'm just going to save it for the summer whenever I'm just in a better place.
So what are you doing instead?
I'm decently good now, but I don't have enough time to finish 8. So this weekend, I'm going to download Final Fantasy VII Intergrade. And do that instead. That'll be more like a sequel to last year anyway. And 8, sure. I wasn't like, I liked the graphics and everything. I can't say I had a bad time. I had a bad time, but I can't say it was because of the game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just
you're playing the remaster, right?
Yeah.
I do like the new sprites.
I thought it was widescreen for some reason, but it's not.
I don't even remember.
Yeah, but I can't say. I mean, it's the beginning of a Final Fantasy game. They're all the same, so I can't say that's bad.
Yeah, I actually think that one has a pretty good end. I mean, you start out fighting Ifrit, your first boss. So
it's just, you told me about all that specific stuff with like how you have to wait until the end to get the things. It's like, I want to do that stuff, but I'm like, dude, I do not have like, I don't have the drive right now to look into all the things I need to do. And
okay, I was just telling you the best way to get the highest seed score possible. Even if you get a poopy seed score, they have like tests you can take, and you just get on the wiki page and boom, 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 boom.
Well,
It's pretty easy, but it's yeah.
I will definitely jump back into it. But even if I kept playing it, it would go into March, well into March at this point, and I can finish intergrade in the time I have left in February.
Yeah, I mean we're already halfway through. It's the 15th. So
I mean I've barely streamed this month either.
Yeah, it's been a month.
It's been hard for me.
Stuff.
I've been traveling a lot, and like I was gonna stream yesterday, and I don't know. I had a mental block. I was like, if I go stream 8 right now, I'm not gonna have a good time. And it's not necessarily 8. It's like I want to stream a game that I've never played for some reason. Really in the mood to play. So I played Lost Ark tonight.
Yeah, I saw that.
But I wanted to try something new, and I'll save 8 for the summer. As soon as the summer starts, it won't be the only thing I stream, but like weekly 8 sessions all summer. I think that sounds fun.
Sounds fun.
Whatever.
I mean, yeah, that sounds fun. I just think 8 any time of the year sounds fun.
I'm trying not to hate. I've never hated 8, by the way. It's all a joke. But forget I said that because it's a funny joke. But the goal is for me to put the joke to bed. All right, so that's what we're going for. Now, I will never put 13's joke to bed because that is a part of my identity at this point, and that would be like losing myself. It'd be like
you need a
myself.
better identity.
So that'll happen this summer. 7 intergrade is starting Saturday.
Nice.
If it runs well on my computer. If it doesn't run well, and I'll be starting 6 when it comes out. I'll be starting 6 when it comes out.
Will you be able to just jump right into that, or will you have to replay base 7 since you played it on the PS4? Or did you play that on PC? No. You had to have played it on PS4.
I did. I don't know. I hope not. If so, then I'll just whatever. I'll just start it. It's a good game. Oh God, I gotta play Final Fantasy VII Remake again. Oh, I enjoyed that game. I
don't remember.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know because I just bought it on PS5.
Yeah. So that's happening. There's still 6 is coming out. I'll be playing 6. Yep. I'll be playing Stranger of Paradise on launch day next month. There's still a lot of Final Fantasy coming out. Final February just hit
GP next month.
Final February hit at a bad time this time for me. But I'm feeling better now-ish, but it's already 15 days in, so it's like
half the month's gone.
8 will happen though, I promise. I won't put it off for the end of my days.
I'm holding you to that.
I won't do it, I promise.
Well, yeah, okay. I've had a little bit of Final Fantasy time lately too. I haven't played 14, but I finished 2, which is gonna lead right into our discussion later, and then I started Final Fantasy 3. So I am only 2 games away from having beaten all of the mainline titles, and that's 3 and 6, both pixel remasters. So that should be happening by the end of the year.
Yeah, it's big news.
Yep. I'm excited. I'm really excited. But you know what? I just want to get right into it because it's fresh on my mind. I just finished Final Fantasy 2 last night. No. Night before last.
Okay.
And I'm ready to talk about it. I'm ready to go through it. I'm ready to get into it. I'm ready to argue and disagree with you on a lot of stuff, I bet.
I mean, keep in mind, I don't think the game's abysmal.
But we're going to find out.
I do think that the game is definitely in the bottom half of the game, but
I will give you that, actually.
It's definitely in the bottom half. It's definitely got its things that I like, but it's like a game.
So let's start with that, actually. I want to hear the things you like because you're negative a lot.
I like so here's the thing. I like everything about the game. I love the system, but it's
really?
It's implemented badly in the game though.
Okay, what do you mean by that?
So like the system works a lot like modern RPGs do, where certain skills level up certain skills. I've always thought the idea of that was really cool, but it starts to get to a point where you're like, I need to raise my HP. So instead of grinding a bunch of stats, you have to grind one stat at a time, and it's kind of draggy. So it feels like a really innovative idea done about 20 years early.
So here's the thing, specifically with HP, I never felt like I had to grind that at all. That just came naturally from playing.
Well, HP raises when your HP is low. And
HP, from what I read too, in the Pixel remasters, as in like one of the remakes, you get a little bit of HP every couple levels anyway, or every couple battles anyway. So I mean, my HP was 4,000 or 5,000 by the end, and I didn't grind it at all.
It's also one thing I hated about the game is that I thought, oh, I gotta grind. That game was not hard enough. You did not need to do that. Like,
Yeah, there actually wasn't a need to grind that I thought.
I felt stupid for doing it. I mean, I was
Yeah.
insanely overpowered, I'm telling you. And I was like, I
Yeah.
got overpowered to the point where it was just literally pushing buttons because there was no challenge. And I feel like that would have at least increased my enjoyment if I had to use my noodle a little bit on
Well, here's the thing.
encounters.
With the system itself, I actually thought it worked really well. I liked to a point. So I kind of liked because you had the chance of having what felt like a level up every couple battles, or every battle. Like something went up, which was kind of nice. I did feel like the way the system was implemented, it made it harder to target and grind, which actually made me not do it because there were so many things that go into it, like this makes your HP go up, this makes your MP go up. So I kind of just played the game and things happened naturally, and it actually discouraged me from leveling or power leveling. Now, the one thing I will say, I didn't have a problem with the way the stats leveled up. I didn't have a problem with each item type or armor or weapon type having a level.
I didn't either, but I also don't know 100% if I used the armor and weapons smartly. But I didn't have an issue with them at all either.
What I did have a problem with was each individual spell.
Yeah.
Because there are so many spells.
It makes it not worth it.
So many times. It's not. It's not worth it. And that's what I didn't like. What I think would have been better is if they just had two skills, a white magic and a black magic skill. And any white magic would have leveled that, any black magic would have leveled that. I think that would have just felt a little smoother. Because by the end of the game, I had like a level 10 cure, level 6 Asuna, but then there were other things that never got off, like teleport or blink was.
Which is funny because teleport is like overpowered in that game. Like,
but I never used it.
Apparently, you can teleport. Is that the game? I think that's the game where you can teleport almost every boss, but like one.
I have no idea. The only thing I used teleport for was to get out of dungeons. And I noticed that it like drained my HP. Maybe it doesn't at higher levels. I don't know.
No, I do remember that. Yeah, but apparently you can use teleport on bosses and one-shot them. Like, almost all of them.
That's kind of cool.
So that's insane.
Didn't know that. But the bosses were so easy anyway.
It doesn't matter. See, that's the thing about the game that I don't like is that the magic, first of all, I hated. I
didn't like the magic. The magic was not my favorite.
Maria was going to be my sage. She's my overall magic user. That was a mistake. She ended up being pretty useless because she was too scattered. Like, she was trying to level white magic, black magic. It was a mistake, big time.
Yeah.
So,
I didn't have a black mage. I had 3 attackers, and Maria was my healer / white magic damage dealer. So I used her to deal damage with Holy or Ultima.
Yeah,
Now what I did do was I gave the main 3 people 1 fire, 1 thunder, 1 blizzard, and that was I feel like an okay way to do it. But neither one of them got very proficient in it. And magic, what kind of bugged me was you had to use it so much to level it up, and the dungeons were so long with so many encounters that I was just
definitely why they did that. I mean, there's they had to have done that so you could like be decently leveled. I mean, I thought that while playing it. Like, the game design is that the leveling is so obscure and weird that they're making the dungeons longer, making the encounter rate insane to level you up.
Yeah.
But then I thought, is that really good design though? It's like an answer to a poor design philosophy. Like, that's what I thought. I was like, I don't think that's an answer. I don't think that's a solution. It's an answer.
I think the answer would have been maybe to decrease the encounter rate a little bit and increase the chances of a level up on something.
Yeah.
Because, as I was playing it, I was like, this doesn't feel that bad. Like, I did feel like there were a lot of encounters, but like I never felt like that's all I was doing. But I've been playing 3 for about an hour and a half, and I'm like, oh my god, it is a huge difference.
It's a huge difference.
I walked from one town to the other and didn't encounter anything, and in 2 I would have hit probably 6 battles.
Huge difference. It's
like
crazy.
I didn't even notice until I went back to one of the others. But yeah, there's a lot.
Yeah, it's a weird game. I mean, I think it's fair to say it's definitely the black sheep of the series, which isn't a bad thing. I mean, black sheep usually just means it's just insanely different. And
it is.
I think
they tried a lot of stuff here.
I think overall, I can't say it's a bad game, but I can say it's one of the worst.
I actually really liked it. surprisingly. I really did like it. It just, there were some things that had me scratching my head. And there are some things, like in general, I don't have too many complaints with Final Fantasy games. I'm a relatively positive player, as you know. I have more complaints with Final Fantasy 2 than I do any other game in the series, I think. One thing being the magic, the other thing being the stupid, random, empty room doors.
Absolutely.
Those are just a waste of time.
It's stupid.
Like, that's all that was a waste of time.
It's so stupid.
It got to where I would just look, I would just grab a map online that showed me which doors not to go in and just avoided those. Because it just wasn't worth it.
I should have done that.
Just wasted time. Wasted time.
It's very annoying. I hated that part of the game.
That was the one thing I was like, in the first couple dungeons, like, what's happening here? And then I realized that was like a thing they were going to be doing throughout the game, and I was like, oh no, this is
instantly
dumb.
It's like, this sucks.
Yeah,
I think
that I just did not care for at all.
I think it's like the game has so many great ideas, but it hardly does any of them well, which is interesting because so many of the ideas they had flourished into like staples in the genre nowadays, right?
Yeah, I mean, it is interesting that it has MP, and then in Final Fantasy 3 they go right back to spell slots.
Back.
So that was interesting.
Very
to me.
Interesting game.
Yeah.
It was also really easy to max out MP. It was super easy.
Like I said, I didn't grind anything. I just used it when I needed it.
Yeah,
and that was it.
I think it's weird because I don't hate it by any means. I did enjoy the story.
Me too.
Like
actually.
the story, does it hold up to current Final Fantasy games? No. Was I blown away that was a story written in like the late 80s? Yeah, kind of.
Now, I will say, I'm not very far into 3 yet, but so far 2 seems to have the best narrative out of the first 3.
3 doesn't focus on narrative a lot. It's got a weaker narrative.
So, I mean, I liked the story of 2. I thought the characters were interesting. It had some nice twists, and death mattered. People die in this game, and they stay dead, unlike Final Fantasy 4.
It's a very dark game. It's one of the only Final Fantasy games they do that kind of crap in.
And they and that's kind of touching at the end, and
yeah.
I enjoyed that. I enjoyed the death.
I think it's easy to hate on 2, which makes it like almost more fun to try to love on it, because it is easy to hate on it. Like, there's good ideas, but they're not done great.
Sure.
The game is definitely more enjoyable narratively than from a gameplay perspective, because it's not a very fun game at the end of the day. It's a very grind-heavy game where grinding isn't... And it's very... It presents itself as, this is going to be the grindiest game of your life. Then you realize, oh my god, I don't... It's like they made the game easy because they're like...
You don't have to grind at all,
You don't. It's too easy. So it's not...
I mean, this might be controversial, but I actually found it more fun playing-wise than Final Fantasy 1. I did find it more fun to play than Final Fantasy 1.
I mean, you have to think more. I mean,
the systems were more complicated and sometimes unnecessarily complicated.
Yeah.
But that just little extra depth did give it a little bit more fun than just Final Fantasy 1, which was pretty straightforward.
Yeah,
and the narrative on top of it, and the world I liked a little bit better, the layout and how things were connected and stuff like that.
Oh, the whole world was connected. You could walk anywhere at the beginning of the game.
No, it was great. As soon as I got
terrifying.
the Chocobo, I went straight to Mysidia. I got those powerful weapons, and I never slowed down after that. I just powered through.
Very scary.
But I like that. That was cool.
Oh,
The first time I was just wandering around and then ran into a battle and got one shot, and I was like,
that kind of like
happened?
That kind of like curiosity and exploration, I literally like love. It's like my number one wanted. It's like in Breath of the Wild when you get through the tutorial, they're like, over there's Ganon. The world's yours. You can go try to beat Ganon now. Yeah. You can do it. It's going to be very hard. You can go do all this other stuff to get ready. When the games do that, they're like, the world's your oyster. I'm like, God, I love it. And 2 guides your way. You're like, oh, that thing one-shotted me. Obviously not supposed to be over there. Let's go over here.
But 1 and 3 both physically cut you off from places you shouldn't be going.
3 especially. 3 especially.
Yeah, I know. I mean, 3, you're like walk out and like, hey, there's a big boulder.
Yeah.
Walk around here for a while.
Yeah.
But yeah, 2, it's just like you can just start walking, and you could leave the first area and just walk straight to things that will be fighting at the end of the game.
Yeah. It's nuts.
Was nuts. And I kind of liked it.
I do like that a lot about 2.
Yeah.
Again, there's a lot of things 2 does, and I like Furion's design and everything as a character.
Yeah, he looks cool.
Guy Speak Beaver.
Guy was, yeah.
Guy Speak Beaver.
The only thing I wish it had given us some backstory about who they were, where they came from, why Guy talked like that. Like, it still did that classic, like, early Final Fantasy thing where it just drops a bunch of characters into a world and doesn't really explain where they came from, who they are. And things happen and you get to know them, but you don't know their backstory ever. Like, that never comes up.
This might be a controversial take, but on that point, the game's ambition for the depth of the story, I think within the first 6 is like second to Final Fantasy 6. I really think so. With the narrative, the way they tell the story, they still don't really go into detail on the characters too much. But I will say the game had more kind of like twists than 4 did.
Yeah. I mean, I will say that the false ending was fun.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, absolutely. And 4 is great, but it's got a very like generic path you can follow that you can kind of, for the most part, other than the few betrayals here and there, predict how the game's going to go through. 2, I mean, good lord, as soon as you realize that everyone in the game dies, then it gets a little predictable, but that is a sad game. And then 5 takes the more gameplay approach, less story thing, and so does 3, and so does 1. So it's really weird that 2, this game that everyone hates, no one talks about the story.
Yeah, I mean, I was shocked when, I can't remember what exactly happens, but you go through a dungeon, and then you get out, and then you go to the first town, they're all talking about some cyclone, and you're like, what? And then like half the world has been destroyed.
Yeah.
Like, whoa, what happened? What happened while we were in there?
That game is nuts.
Yeah, so the story actually I found was pretty engaging. This one I think could use like the remake type. I think honestly, and I haven't played it yet, but I think Stranger of Paradise is going to be great. I think Final Fantasy 2 might have been a better fit for that kind of a reboot.
I think Final Fantasy 2 needs one because the game it's tried to be is like actually games now. Like it tried to do something that wasn't a thing yet. Like individual stat leveling is like so staple. It's like in Dark Souls, it's in Elder Scrolls, it's in so many things, and those games do it so well. And 2, I'm not gonna say it was the first one because I have no idea, but
it was the first Final Fantasy.
That's true. It's
well, and
nuts.
it has a narrative, and that I think a lot of people overlook, like you said, and because it's so old, and because it has such a bad reputation. I mean, that's the reason I didn't play it for so long.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, I tried it once way back in the day and kind of drifted away, but you just keep hearing these bad things about it, and you're like, doesn't really seem worth my time, does it?
Yeah, it's one of those games that has like low lows and high highs, and the low lows are really hard to ignore because, especially with the story, like, does it hold up to stories today? Not really. But
I don't think any of the first 3 are going to do that.
Not at all, and that's the lens people need to look past. But what people really can't look past is the gameplay, which in my opinion is just a game with a lot of ambitious ideas that falls flat on almost all of them. Because
I don't even agree with almost all of them. I think it falls flat in a couple places, but like I said, the major stat increases, how you level strength, how you level that I thought functioned and worked fine.
Well, that's
I had
also
no problem with that.
That's also a product though too of the Pixel remaster as well.
Maybe
because I've never really played. I played Dawn of Souls a bit, but like apparently the NES version of 2 in Japan just didn't work. Like half the stats didn't work. Evasion was not a thing. It was that you could level up, but it didn't do anything. So I think maybe the Pixel remaster might be the first version of the game that like functions as intended. Don't quote me on that. I mean, I don't know for sure, but I do remember after years of like following Final Fantasy Let's Players and YouTubers, the biggest complaint about 2 is that it just doesn't work.
Okay, so that's an interesting point because I am coming from this just from the Pixel Remaster perspective. And in this, I felt like it does. I feel like the stats and stuff work just fine.
Mm-hmm.
It was just the spells and things. Now, I can see that definitely being an issue in an older version of this game.
Yeah, like HC Bailey is my favorite Final Fantasy YouTuber, and one of his first LPs was Final Fantasy 2 back in like 2005, and like 3 years ago he redid it because it was like there's a bunch of new discovered stuff that I want to go over because the game doesn't work so bad. It's the NES version. It's so bad in how it doesn't work. People are still discovering like stupid exploity ways that you have to make the game work, and he wanted to show it, which to a point is kind of beautiful. It's kind of like speedrunning Mario 64 and doing all this junk you're not supposed to. It's kind of like it's either beautiful or just so ugly you can't take your eyes away. But one of those things.
Yeah, but I mean, as far as the Pixel Remaster, I think they probably fixed some of that stuff. And I know that these are supposed to be based on the originals, and they are, but some of the updates have made their way through. For instance, in Final Fantasy 1, it was based off the original, of course, but they still had the reference to Sid in that one area. So they put that in there. And in this one, in the original game, you could get 2 blood swords. And in the Pixel Remaster, you could only get 1, which is a change they implemented in the Dawn of Souls, I think.
Well, you cannot get the frog equipment in the Pixel Remaster of 2.
So it's interesting. It's like they base it on the original game, except for what they view as needed improvements. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And Does that make sense? So,
yeah.
Like that kind of armor, like not needed, but these little bug fixes needed. And I guess a balancing issue from removing one of the blood swords needed.
I was absolutely enraged about the frog stuff. You know about the frog minigame?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
So you know the snowmobile part?
Yes.
Apparently in PSP and Dawn of Souls, if you push a button combination on that, you can play a frog minigame. Where if you get like a perfect score, you can get whatever the heck, the Masarume, whatever the Sephiroth sword name is.
You could get that at that point in the game?
Yeah, and you can get an unlimited amount of it. Because there's a code to the game.
I can see why that's not there.
And I did this thing. I think you had to level grind or something for it.
Yeah.
I don't know what you had to level grind, but I did it. I took my laptop to work to do it. Did it all day because there was a slow day at work and I could. It was meetings all day. Literally spent 8 hours grinding. Went to play the frog mini game on stream because I wanted to show everyone how awesome this was going to be. And it wasn't there.
So hold up. You spent 8 hours grinding in the Pixel Remaster FF2?
Yeah, well, not like constantly. It was hit and miss. Like,
no wonder you thought this game was so easy. Holy crap, you were over-leveled. Or over-whatevered.
I think... what was it I had to do? I think I had to level... Oh, no, I wasn't leveling any stats or anything, though. I was leveling... You had to level Toad. The spell Toad.
Oh my god.
I don't remember why, so I just leveled Toad on max on everybody.
I don't have anything.
8 hours.
Nothing got to max. When I beat this game, I had nothing max.
Toad did.
My highest level, I think, was 11. And what's the max? 16?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, so that wasn't even... I didn't even get barely a little over halfway to max. And it just didn't matter.
Yeah,
that's why...
I was very
really
mad about that.
Something that needed to happen.
I was very upset. I think I might try to play the game again one day on the PSP version. Kind of like on a PSP for... I think it'd be a better version, honestly.
The PSP version versus the Pixel Remaster?
Yeah, as long as the systems work. Because you get that extra dungeon at the end. You get the frog thing. You just get the extra
frog
stuff.
Thing sounds very minor to me.
But you can have everyone have Masamune, and it's gonna be like, bah! You're gonna be so
still
OP.
Get one towards the end of the game.
Everyone can have 2. It'd be so awesome. And you got the extra dungeon where you get to play as all the dead dudes.
Oh yeah,
that would be cool. That. But I mean, if the systems don't work, it probably sucks.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember. I mean, the first time I tried to play this, it was the GBA version.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't remember how far I got. And actually, the thing I remember, like I have one very specific memory from playing Final Fantasy II on the GBA, and it didn't happen. so I must have made it up.
What was it?
Just something towards the beginning, unless they had a separate intro in the GBA version. It just didn't happen. So I was like, okay, I must have just dreamed that. I don't know.
The last time I tried to play it before Pixel Remaster was on iPad.
Oh, okay.
I didn't make it. I got to the airship, the battleship part. That was it.
The original ones on the mobile versions just weren't very good. The
They
Pixel
look
remasters
good,
played very good. They play much better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was not a good experience.
Anyway. So, what did you think about so let's see. We've talked about the story a little bit. We've talked about the systems. Did you have anything else that you stood out to you in this game that
No,
you actually really liked or didn't like or
no. I mean, overall, I've said a lot of the things that stood out as negative and positive for me. Everything else is just kind of forgettable, honestly.
okay.
It's a very, like, average, middle of the road, kind of not the most fun to play game in the series. So it's the music. Okay, I haven't mentioned the music.
The music is great, dude. Don't you crap on the music.
I will say this. I said earlier, the songs in Final Fantasy II that are the best, like the dungeon theme, the castle theme,
the rebel theme.
So like a castle theme and the dungeon theme.
Yeah.
Of categories of castle themes and dungeon themes in the entire series, those two, Pandemonium and the rebel theme, are the best in those categories.
Pandemonium's a really good
Pandemonium is the best final dungeon music in the series. The rebel theme is goosebumps.
It's awesome. Man,
the only soundtrack that
goosebumps
sucks is the normal boss fight music, which
I think it switches at some point because
it does.
It's not all the bosses.
It comes back every now and then. It's for like mini bosses, I think. It sucks.
Think so.
It's so bad. But everything else, the music, it either goes from great as always, like Final Fantasy, bad with the one boss music, to the best it's ever been with those two tracks.
Yeah. Like, I mean, I think that the Rebel theme for me is top tier when it comes to music.
There's no question.
It's just such a great song. Like, I don't know, man. You could... And it just fits so well with the narrative and the tone.
It's the only tune in that game that Distant Worlds has done.
Yeah, I know. And I think... Did A New World do it too?
They should do Pandemonium. I'm telling you, Pandemonium
that'd be a good one.
Gives me goosebumps. That is just an epic tune.
Now, on the subject of Pandemonium, let me just say, if I were a kid playing this back in when did it come out? I don't know.
Sometime in the 80s or 90s.
Okay. I would not have made it through that last giant mega dungeon. There's no save point, and there's like a bajillion rooms because you have to do two back-to-back dungeons.
Three similar with the two dungeons, but it's a little shorter.
You would have had to set aside hours for that.
I know it. Ugh.
No,
or just left the
point.
NES on.
I guess.
And back then too, it's not like there's no speed up version, and the NES battles went slow.
Yeah. I don't know what they were thinking there. Like, with quick save and stuff, it wasn't a problem because I could save whenever and stop and come back to it. But if I had to just sit down and play through both of those dungeons back to back, I just wouldn't have time now with all the stuff I have in my adult life.
I know
but that would have taken hours. I mean, you would have needed to set aside like Lord of the Rings extended edition time slots.
It's bad. It's weird and questionable decisions like that. It's probably why the game hasn't aged well.
Now, why don't they have save points? Was that a technical limitation?
I don't have any idea. I genuinely don't know.
Well, because save points aren't just good for saving, but they let you use a tent or a cottage. I mean, you have to go through this whole thing with trying to just keep yourself up with items and ethers and elixirs or whatever. So, man,
it's probably nearly impossible.
And then if you die, if something happens, because you have to do all that and then fight the last boss. If you die to the last boss, you have that entire double dungeon to do again.
3 on the DS was the same way, and I got to the last boss as a kid, died, went back, I shut the DS and never tried it again.
I would rage.
I literally never
touched.
touched the game again. The first time
I probably wouldn't have even picked Pixel Remaster if that had happened.
I've never beaten 3 on 3DS. I beat the 3D version on Steam, but not. It scarred me. I love that game, but it scarred me. And
made me
the
mad.
Pixel Remaster version, you're gonna have a lot of fun with 3. Keep in mind the job system is not like it is in 5. It's not supposed to be switched a lot. Pick something you like. The only time you should ever consider switching jobs is when you get new ones.
And then stick with those. That's kind of what I'm gathering. Because it doesn't look like you really get any benefits from having jobs. Except for, I did a little bit of research, and once you get it to master, you get a special item.
Yeah.
But other than that, it doesn't seem like stats or abilities carry over, so it doesn't seem to make a lot of sense to switch a lot. So.
I know you have Red Mage, so Red Mage is a good endgame one too.
It's my literal Final Fantasy 1 party. It is right now. It's a knight, a white mage, a red mage, and a monk. The only difference is, instead of naming my white mage Yuna, I went with Renoa. So
hey, I got the same. Every time I play 3, I'm like, I'm gonna do something different. I do the same exact thing every time. I was glad to see in 3 that they don't give you Thief at the first crystal like they do in the 3D version, because I always pick Thief. Always. And I always say, I'm not picking Thief. And now I literally couldn't pick Thief.
Yeah.
But Monk, Monk is, especially in the 3D version, easily the best in the game. And when you get Black Belt, way better. So,
yes, I have Red Mage, of course. Yeah. And then that's who I'm walking around with on the map, just because. And I named him Wolfgans, so. And I did name my 4th one Sid, just because I did that in 1, and then you meet Sid like right away, and I was like, oh, crap. So he looks like a little gnome.
Yeah, Sid is there. He's a good guy. Yeah, 3 you'll have a lot of fun with 3. 2 though, it's you have a hard time. It's closer to good than bad. It's not bad at all, for sure.
I agree. I
wouldn't say it's bad, but I have a hard time. Like, I would never recommend it to somebody. Does that make sense?
What do you think about? I would recommend it to someone who's played a couple other Final Fantasies. Like, hey, do you want to see something weird? I would never recommend it to someone new.
Yeah, no way.
Play a bunch of other ones first. Let me ask you this: what do you think about the party system and having a constantly rotating 4th slot?
It was fine. I liked it.
So I liked it from a flavor standpoint. I did like having other characters come and go, but they always were so far behind.
They sucked.
They almost always, except for in the very beginning, you get Minwoo, and it's like, whoa, this dude.
Oh yeah, he's frogs.
Everyone else after that they just suck. They're just nowhere near where they need to be.
And it's weird too, because at first I was like, should I even worry about leveling their stats up because they're gonna leave? I'm gonna get them back later and have to fight a hard boss.
Yeah.
And you get Leon right at the end. You're supposed to meant to be 4th, and he sucks.
He sucks too. He catches up a little quicker, I feel like, but he never caught all the way up.
Not at all.
At least his weapon skills were 7 or 8 when you get him, but his HP was still 900 or
he was garbage
or something. And so Leon, you name him right at the beginning, right?
And you get him right at the end.
He's gone.
It was a cool twist though that he was that knight the whole game.
Yeah.
I actually didn't see that coming. I felt kind of stupid, but I was kind of like, huh. Well,
I didn't see that coming either, and it was long enough to when they do the fake out ending where they're all dancing and celebrating. I knew there was more just because I had a guide and I knew that I had another dungeon to do, but I was like, I don't know what's gonna happen. I totally forgot we never saved her brother.
Yeah,
it just didn't even cross my mind that there was just still a loose thread out there. So I don't know, but that was pretty good. Another thing I really liked about this that was unique was I kind of liked the password system. It was just different. You would learn specific keywords, but then you had to remember to ask people about specific keywords, and I don't know, it seemed kind of.
It seemed like there could have been some cool secrets with that. That kind of felt like a missed opportunity, but there's not really wrong with it. I thought it was fun.
Well, I think there was one secret, maybe. If you mentioned something to Paul, he gave you a secret room or something.
Maybe.
But that was it. They had more. It had more potential than what they utilized it for.
It was fine though, I thought.
But I thought it was fun. I thought it was neat. I was like, ooh, keyword every time it popped up.
I definitely had a better time with that game. Up closer to the end, it really started to rub me wrong. I was like, okay, It's a bunch of I kind of felt the same way you felt at the end of 12. I was like,
yeah.
this is very samey. I'm very over it. I want it to be over now. I felt like that bad at on Final Fantasy 2. And that's why
interesting.
I just did that stream to pull the Band-Aid off and finish it. But I did leave it thinking, that was a decent experience narratively.
Yeah.
It was not bad.
So I wasn't feeling like that. I was very much feeling like that at the end of 12. I think the difference, though, is at Final Fantasy 2, I beat in about 15 hours. In Final Fantasy 12, I was like almost 40 or something.
Yeah.
So it was just where it was a shorter experience. I didn't really have time to burn out.
Imagine how long it would have been, though, if you weren't playing the Pixel Remaster version.
Oh, my God. Yeah.
It'd have been a nightmare.
That would have been such a long
on a
game.
GBA.
Well, imagine how long it would have taken me to beat 12 if I hadn't had the 3 times speed.
Oh,
dude.
man.
So,
Man.
All these old JRPGs just so benefit from a speed up mode. It doesn't make it any easier. It just makes it faster.
It might make it harder in some cases if you're too trigger happy with it.
Oh, I definitely do. Like, I'll be in a dungeon, I'll be in auto mode or whatever, and I'll just hit it as soon as the battle starts and realize I've got everybody set to auto attack, and it's nothing but like, physical attack resistant bombs, and I'm like, oh crap.
Yeah, that sucks.
So I actually have screwed myself a couple times with the speed up auto battles.
Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah.
But I mean, decent game. I think I'll leave it at that. It's decent.
Okay. Yeah, I put it in the bottom half too, but I don't hate it, and I did like it better than 1. I will say that.
I think it is at the bottom of the games I like.
Yeah, that's fair.
That makes sense. It's like,
I like all of them.
It's at the bottom of that list.
I don't have a Final Fantasy I don't like. The one I like the least is still 12, but I also don't hate it, and push came to shove 10, 15 years from now, I wouldn't be opposed to playing it again. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's no Final Fantasy I don't like so much that I would say I'll never pick that up again.
Well, we'll see. I might join you one day, but
no,
I don't know.
You gotta play 13 to
I'm
see.
too stubborn. I mean, okay. I don't think this game. I feel like I have to put it above 8, but it's not. Like, there's no way this game's better than 8. Like,
yeah,
you know what I mean?
Say, dude, now you're just trolling.
That's just an insult. But I've not beaten 8, and I feel kind of dumb doing that. Because my bottom 3 have always been 2, 8, and 13 in no order. But 8's the only one of those 3 that I thought, okay, this is actually a good game. I need to like it. So
yeah, if you end up liking 2 better than 8, then I think you should go have your head checked or something.
No, I don't think I will. Because
no offense to anybody that likes 2 better than 8. I just really like 8.
A little bit of a first impression with 8. I don't want to talk about this long. This is first impressions, so obviously I'll answer it again as I get further. But the drawing, I still not crazy about, but the junctioning was not as stupid as I remembered.
Yeah, I don't know a lot of people complain about junctioning. I think it's cool.
I mean, junctioning alone, the drawing part of it is annoying, but the actual junctioning part is like, it's just equipment. It's just magic is equipment. So it's not,
and it's a little bit like materia with certain things. It affects certain stats.
Yeah.
Up and down. Yeah.
So
it's
so
very
far,
similar, but...
now I'll say so far I could change it. I think junctioning might be fine. But we'll see. I don't know. That's just what I think so
junctioning's
far.
easy to
exploit
if you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
But if you don't know what you're doing, then it's just a normal system.
Yeah.
But I also feel like that's almost every Final Fantasy system. Like if you really know what you're doing, you can break it. But junctioning's pretty easy to break, but you have to know specifically what you're doing early on. So anyway, yeah, that's for another topic.
That's for another topic. I'll spoon feed those thoughts as they come, but it'll be a few months. You gotta bear with me, guys. I'm sorry. It's nothing to do with 8. I think it's just the whole dated kind of game feeling right now. I don't really want to play a dated feeling game right now, and I'm not playing
You're about to play Final Fantasy 6, aren't you?
When does that come out?
I think next week.
That's such bad timing.
Yeah.
God, Elden Ring comes out next week.
I just picked up Final Fantasy 3. And on Thursday, the new Voice of Cards comes out. So I am going to hold off on getting 6 until I finish 3.
This month has been awful with all the stuff coming out, which is such a weird stint. But I don't know what to play.
Yeah, I mean, I've still got stuff I need to beat, but it's all pretty much gonna get dropped once Voice of Cards launches because I love that series.
Well, I'm playing Elden. I'm prioritizing Elden Ring, so we'll see.
Well, man, do you have anything else you want to say about Final Fantasy II? I've kind of hit all of the main points that
No, I think this might be the
here.
last time we ever talk about it.
I doubt that.
We might mention it.
We have been talking about it for a while because I think we've both had it on our list to play. We both have it pretty close to the bottom, and we both said we needed to give it another chance. And I will say for myself, it only improved my opinion of it.
Oh, I mean, absolutely.
Yeah, I had given it a much harder time in my head and the memories that I had of it than it deserved.
Yeah, it was a better game than I remembered. That's for sure.
It was a better game than I remember.
And again,
for sure.
It has low lows, but the music, story, I mean, I won't say the story is like revolutionarily the best thing. It was good though.
It was good for a early Final Fantasy, I thought.
The music,
I thought it was really good.
The music is probably an S tier in the series. Like it's if not A, it's like awesome.
I'm gonna hang up and just go straight and listen to the Rebel theme. It's that good.
Yeah, it's awesome.
That good. If you haven't heard it, if you're listening to this and you haven't actually played Final Fantasy II,
go listen to it.
Sorry, we just spoiled the entire game for you.
Yeah.
But go listen to it.
Good game. Well,
now I will say, just real quick, when we're talking about, breaking things and this being easy, the Blood Sword totally trivializes every boss in this game.
Yeah, I remember that.
Like,
I had it too.
It's great, but every hit takes 1/16 of whatever it attacks life. So the final boss was a joke, like an absolute joke. Yeah. I think I beat it in like 4 rounds or something.
Yeah, it's,
I don't even think I healed.
Very easy. I can't wait for 6 to come out and have like all of the secret stuff, all the like summons you can get, all the characters, all the spells.
Yeah, so I've been viewing these pixel remasters as like fun little quick games to get through, something to do on my phone. I'm viewing 6 as I'm viewing as like an actual okay, this is a time commitment RPG.
Like I would say honestly, if it comes out on Switch before then, it's not. I would have said I know you got them all on phone, but that game would be 100% better on the couch than it would on the phone. Because it's just presented like that. It's like Final Fantasy VI is a game on equal presentation levels of 7, 8, and 9, but on Super Nintendo.
Yeah, it does look like with the pixel remasters that they might have went a step further with 6 too.
It deserves so much more still, though.
I don't know. If you do too much more, then you're getting into remake territory.
Hey, do it. Like, it deserves it.
I know, but that's harder. What I'm saying is, like...
Do it. I know.
There's only so much you could do without massive overhauls of the
I would have liked a 3D remake in the same vein as, like, 4 had. But maybe not as chibi.
I would much prefer something like the Octopath Traveler style than the FF3 3D.
Yeah, okay. I agree. Oh, my God.
That would be so much better.
The fact that didn't happen makes me upset. That would have been...
Well, if you look at some of the screenshots, Final Fantasy VI, I think, does look better than the other pixel remasters. It does have a little bit of that vibe, too.
It does, but I do wish it would look like... Especially the Live Alive coming out. Holy crap, that game looks gorgeous.
Like that but if they had done that, we'd have been waiting even longer on Final Fantasy VI.
You know what? I would have been okay with that. I honestly would have. Because I've played 6 a million times. I would have been okay with that. I love 6.
I'm kind of looking forward to having it. I by the end of this year, that was my resolution. By the end of this year, will have beaten all the Final Fantasies.
You're beating me to it because I need a lot of therapy first.
So I'll let you know how it is on the other side.
Well, you haven't beaten 13-2 or Lightning Return.
Mainline games, and no, I haven't, but still, I'm further ahead of that than you are.
No, you're
at
going
least have
to
the first one.
You're gonna have a few years on me on that. I don't have any interest in playing 13.
Yeah. And of course, there's a million Final Fantasy games spin-offs, but I was just talking mainlines.
Yeah,
so.
Absolutely.
Anyway, man,
I gotta beat Endwalker.
Yeah, you were way behind on that.
I gotta beat Endwalker. I
get back in there.
Yeah, I talk about the other things. Oh man,
I want to do an Endwalker review, and you're so far behind.
I'm very far behind. I don't have any thoughts though. No final thoughts on 2 for sure. Yeah, I think next week we should do our MOBA episode finally, unless Square Enix can't keep their stupid mouths shut with news.
They'll do something. We'll pencil that in. That's our
I want to do
break glass in case of emergency button. So
I want to do it.
let's hope we can do it. Okay. Well, yeah, I don't
Good
really have
topic.
anything final to say. I think I've said everything I wanted to. It's a good game. If you're a Final Fantasy fan, you want to see something unique, give it a try.
Yeah.
With an open mind. Go in with an open mind and don't expect something that you've seen before.
Don't make this like
different.
your second Final Fantasy game. Definitely experience the series a little bit first, I think. Because if you come off of like 9 or like 10 and go to this, you're gonna be in a culture shock.
It definitely shouldn't be the first Pixel remaster you play.
God, no. Absolutely not.
It should be one of the last Pixel remasters you play.
Yes, absolutely.
At least the middle. But
absolutely.
All right, man. Well, this was a good one. I'm glad we finally got to talk in depth about Final Fantasy.
Yeah, we agreed on more of it than I thought.
Yeah, me too. I was expecting to argue. I was expecting you to have more problems with it, and you were like, "Oh, I like that fine," and I was like, "Oh yeah, well, okay."
No, I mean a lot of. I guess you could call them problems, but I do think the game boils down to a game with a lot of great ideas, with hardly any of them done well. You know what I mean?
But a lot of them are done passably.
They're done functionally.
Yeah,
they function.
At least in the Pixel remaster.
yeah, in the Pixel remaster, they function. But at the same time, it's like I want more.
One thing I will say, this is my final thought. Sorry, I do have one. The game does need to be better about telling you certain things. All of the equipment has a hidden magic penalty.
And I didn't even know that until you told me.
It doesn't tell you that anywhere. Like, I think I read that bows, which Maria starts with, has like a minus 70%. You need to tell people that. Like, that is so dumb that that's not something that's just right there in your face, especially in the Pixel remaster. They should have added a magic penalty in your stats section. That was the one thing. There was too much hidden from the player.
Yeah, too many hidden mechanics.
Yeah, too many hidden mechanics. Exactly. That is my final thought.
Absolutely, anyway. And that might have not been intentional. But then again, in the Pixel remaster, at that point, it's like, what's the point here now?
In the Pixel remaster, that could have been addressed.
I think so.
They had a chance to,
because
it wasn't changing anything fundamental to the game. It's just showing us something that was already there.
Yeah.
So
it was weird.
That's my thought.
It was weird. It sits wrong with me, that part. But
yeah,
I think the game could benefit from some kind of a remake instead of a remaster.
Well, hey man, if Stranger of Paradise goes well, maybe they will do 2.
I hope it does go well. It will go well to me.
That's sure. I don't know if I'll be picking that one up day one, just because, like you just said, there's so much crap out there right now.
Yeah. I will be. I'll be streaming it day one. I might take off work to stream it. I'm excited.
You should. That's fun. I did that with Endwalker.
But
I should have taken Thursday off, but I'm just gonna take a really long lunch.
I was gonna take Friday off next week for Elden Ring, but I'm running out of sick days, so probably won't.
Yeah, might not be a good idea. Anyway, man, I think that brings us to the end of this one. How can we find you if we want to?
I'm on every platform at Soloist, either Soloist TV or Soloist. You can find me, either you'll see my face as the profile picture or some kind of anime profile picture, whatever the flavor of the month is. So
nice.
You'll find me, my trash takes out there floating around on the internet. Give them a follow, give them a subscribe. Hopefully once I get through this weird headspace I'm in, I'll be more active on stuff. I've kind of just been coming home and watching Dr. Stone all day this week, which has been a great experience, but I've not.
Yeah, I've been hearing a lot of people talk about that one lately.
Oh my gosh. I'll talk about that when the show's over. But yeah, it's great. I've been doing fine.
Perfect.
That's not fun.
Well, you can find me, follow me at Wolfkins on Twitter, or you can follow the show at Highwind Herald. I've not been as active on there lately just because it's been crazy, but I am hoping to get back and start posting a little bit more on the official Twitter. So yeah, we didn't go anywhere. I know it seems like we did because I've been quiet. We missed 2 weeks on the podcast, but we're still around. And or you can go to highwindherald.com. We have all of our past episodes, our show notes, and all that stuff there. Links to our social medias there as well. And with that, man, it was good agreeing with you on Final Fantasy II. Did not expect this one.
We should do it more often.
Agree?
Agree, yeah.
I don't I don't think that's
I
gonna
mean,
work.
we've got our strong disagrees, but we can agree on a few things.
I disagree with that. Let's not
Okay.
do that.
Well, I tried,
All
folks.
right, man. Have a great week. I will talk to you later.
Peace out.